I think one of the challenges that retailers face is that they've organized themselves operationally in silos with different functions, and they manage those silos with KPIs. And what happens is when they want to tune the business, they change the KPI for each silo. But if you really look at the business, it comes together in the integration of those silos in a holistic way. And typically the CFO, the CEO then manage the business to try and get performance out of asking the silos to behave differently. What Invent does is takes the logic of the CEO and the CFO right down to the decisions of where to position inventory in their supply chain. And as a result, it makes the holistic decision happen at the very atomic level, not at the macro level. And that tends to help retailers make more money and service their customers better. Well, it goes back to what I was saying about the silos, because all of the data is organized around those silos, and the activities, the functional activities themselves, are built around doing the supply chain silo, the store silo, the merchant silo. And I think what Invent does is it brings all of that data together and orchestrates that into a solution that encompasses the holistic outcome, which is the profitability of the business. The reason we do business is to make money, not to run these little different silos. And so the fact that we're able to coordinate them for the outcome, the result, is actually critical. And that's how we help people take this disparate data from different parts of their organization in these silos and bring it together and orchestrate that into a singular decision for the company that's the right decision for the total company. Well, I think what it does is it brings, instead of using the traditional KPIs that retailers use, which is turn and in-stock to manage their inventory, we link all the inventory in the system to financial models that understand and predict how much money will we make if we moved an item from one location to another, if we put it into a store. If you think about a normal retailer that might have 5,000 items and 1,000 stores, millions of store SKU combinations, every time they move inventory into that store, they're making a bet. And so we look at each atomic level, each store and each item, and we build a model that looks at the profitability of that inventory. And we set the inventory level where it makes us a return that we can justify the investment in. And that level of granularity makes retailers a lot more money. Typically, for every billion in sales, 10 to 20 to 30 million more in profitability. So 100 to 300 basis point improvement in profitability. Every movement costs me something to move it there. Like, for instance, it has a physical cost. If I move it from one DC to another DC, I have a cost. So it should have a benefit that's greater than the cost. Otherwise, it's not a very good move. Alternatively, an interesting problem too is I can move it from the distribution center to a store, and that increases the likelihood of that item selling. But if I strand the product there, then, and I could have used it elsewhere, it had an opportunity cost. I mispositioned it. So by looking at it through the lens of finance and economics and profitability, we make better bets and we get higher returns. They get higher profitability. So, for example, a company like Five Below, a public company in the United States, we raised their profitability significantly, and that helped drive share price. Another client, Academy Sports, was private. It was owned by KKR, and our solutions helped them drive profitability in their inventory cycle that led them to go public roughly 2 years after we started working with them. So I think, from a very tangible perspective, higher profitability. As I said, 100 to 300 basis points of profit improvement. From a strategic perspective, that profitability releases options for companies in terms of their going public or paying down debt, making the company and the enterprise more valuable. And I think those are very tangible benefits for a C-suite. Well, I think, AI is interesting technology. You can throw it at anything and everything. I think what we've done is harnessed and coupled it to the core mission of the retailer, making money. We can use AI for stores, for supply chain. We can use AI for robots in the distribution center. There are many things that AI can help. But what we're doing is we're coupling AI to the core mission of the company, which is to invest money into product and sell that product at a profit and make money and continue to grow and be a successful enterprise.